Has the torch been passed in the AFC West? It certainly feels that way. 22-19, the Broncos defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Yet another walk-off win. Will Lutz with the game-winning field goal, succeeding where the Broncos fell short just about a year ago in Kansas City. Of course, they had what should have been the game-winning drive at Arrowhead Stadium, but Leo Chenal blocked the field goal then. This time, it was true through the uprights. The Broncos getting their 8th consecutive win, clinching a winning season, and putting the AFC West on lockdown. They're 9-2. The Chiefs are 5-5. Earlier in the day, the Los Angeles Chargers throttled down in Jacksonville. The Broncos really have the AFC West by the throat. And frankly, when the Broncos come back from the bye week, when you're looking at the standings, you're not so much looking at the Chargers and Chiefs anymore. You're looking at the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts, because you're looking at the number 1 seed in the AFC. That's what's in play for the Broncos right now. And of course, the Colts have some tough games coming, so even though the Broncos have the tiebreaker disadvantage against Indianapolis thanks to that Week 2 game, the Broncos might end up being in pretty good shape. This game, certainly, even though the circumstances were different and the opponent was different and the gravity of the game was different than, say, the Texans game or even the Giants game, it's familiar, right? Bo Nix leading a game-winning drive at the end. But what sort of set this game apart to me was how it came down to a couple of calls with some serious chutzpah coming from the sideline. Let's first go to when the Chiefs get the ball with under 5 minutes left right over there on the field. And the Broncos have him in 3rd down, and Vance Joseph, who really is putting together a resume that should put him on the radars of every team seeking a head coach this coming off season, dials up a blitz for Jaquan McMillan. And Jaquan McMillan, who's already got a sack, who's already got an interception, has seen a tell on Patrick Mahomes that shows him when to attack, when to take off, as he explained after the game.
It's kind of a timing thing, you know. You try to hold it as long as possible, you know. You can see, like, some of the quarterbacks, they looking at the nickel because, you know, the nickel kind of shows what the defense is in a lot of the time. So, you know, I just try to hold it as long as possible. And you trying to find keys to when the ball is snapped. And I noticed early in the game when he was snapping the ball, his hands would come up and the ball was coming out. So I just timed it up. When his hands start coming up, I start sneaking towards the edge and just made a play. They didn't slide the protection. I just went in.
So with that aggressive call, Jaquan McMillan goes after Mahomes, gets the sack. That is the type of bold move. And with the blitz, and we know how Patrick Mahomes historically eats the blitz alive. So think of the roll of the dice right there to do the thing that usually Mahomes has beaten. And that time, you got the better of it. Nice job, Vance Joseph, who has done an exquisite job calling the Broncos defense. He's got a lot of talent to work with, but of course he's had a little less talent recently with Pat Surtain out, and yet the results have been the same. The Broncos D getting the job done when it matters most, even without Surtain, even with plenty of penalties. Of course, the Riley Moss defensive penalty, certainly a point of frustration today for the Broncos. Something that certainly they're going to want to work with Riley Moss on, because those nearly proved quite costly in terms of the Broncos getting the win this game. So you get the 3 and out when you need it most. Bo Nix and company take over down at that end of the field. First, you get a 3rd down conversion to Courtland Sutton. Huge play. Then you get to midfield. Maybe you could be satisfied with setting Will Lutz up for a field goal from 50 some odd yards. After all, look what the Colts were satisfied with when they were in week 2, they were satisfied setting up a long field goal, and then, of course, came the leverage call. But Sean Payton wanted more, so he decided to go deep, sending Troy Franklin downfield. And when Troy Franklin got the ball, heard a roar from this crowd that rivaled any I've ever heard. The stands shook. That call also took some chutzpah. Here's Mike McGlinchey talking about it.
Sean had it was a great call, a ballsy call to throw a drop back there and get a 30-yard chunk play to put us like right in a chip shot field goal. Great execution there down the stretch. And again, we've excelled in situational football this year, and today was no exception. And and shout out to Will Lutz, man. What a game.
Whatever term you want to use. I just didn't want to use the same exact word as Mike McGlinchey did. But you've got bold calls. Calls from Vance Joseph and Sean Payton that say, I trust you guys. I trust you to make the big play. We're not going to be timid. We're going to attack. We're going to take this by the throat. Just like the team is taking the AFC West by the throat. Today, the AFC West. Tomorrow, the number 1 seed? Perhaps. The interesting thing about this game and the aftermath of it in the locker room, one thing that I've noticed after a lot of these games recently is, especially on the offensive side, a recognition that they're winning, but it's not sustainable, right? That you're squeaking by, but the offense isn't doing well. I mean, I put it out there at halftime that the Broncos in 10 quarters since the Cowboys game up to that point had 34 points after having 44 against the Cowboys. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. So they were winning, but they were winning with qualifiers. It was a lot of yeah buts. Even though this game is close, there's no yeah butting it when you beat the Kansas City Chiefs, when you beat the 9-time division champions, when you beat a team that in the last 6 seasons, 2019 through 2024, has been in the Super Bowl 5 times. There's no qualifying that. You got a win that you can put on your mantle.
And I think it's as big of a win as we've had since I've been here. To hang in with those guys and the way we played, and we, sure you want to get better at red zone offense, all that small stuff, but we fought, we battled, and we scored more points than them, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, because we got it done when it mattered, and we were able to move the ball when it mattered. Like the first half was kind of rough, specifically running the ball. But yeah, we found a way. And then I think it was the last drive we got holding. Now we're 3rd and I don't know if it was 3rd and 15 or something. Whatever. We just kept going, and then Prentice got or whatever. I don't even know the series of events. I can't really put it together. But we kept going, and it was unbelievable in its resilience and its belief.
And Bo Nix has a win he can be proud of. Of course, it's not that there weren't some frustrating moments for him, but there were some drops, some frustrating moments where he was let down a little bit, but again, got the job done in the clutch. When the team went 2 minutes late, he was Mr. Cool. It was funny, when the Chiefs went 3 and out and the Broncos got the ball back, I figured they were going to win this game simply because they've done it so many times. You're getting that sort of assurance with Bo Nix in the huddle. The rest of the game, yeah, maybe you're not sure about that, but you're sure about the end with Bo Nix out there. That's the feeling you get watching him. And another feeling you get is that his teammates have his back as well. Just listen to Adam Troutman talk about some of the critiques of Bo Nix, and he made it specific. Like a few minutes after he said what I'm about to show you, he looked at those of us in the media and said, "I'm not talking about you guys," but he is talking about some people online when he says this.
First off, if you're talking about Bo online, you're a coward. absolute coward. But just want to say that and guard him a little bit. But I mean, it says a lot. You know, he blanks it out, and we talked about it this week. You know, we don't care what other people think. We know what we have in the building, and we know what he's made of, and we don't really care what people have to say. So Dragon Slayer 69 with his 7-Eleven Slurpee in his mom's basement, I don't give a shit what he has to say, right? And Bo doesn't either. So, yeah.
The funny thing is, it's the kind of thing I've wanted to say as well. I'd love to say I don't care. I admit sometimes I do. But I have to say I can kind of relate to some of that as well. So, Trout speaking the truth, as always, as the Broncos go into a bye with a 9-2 record, an 8-game winning streak, and a 22-19 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. They've got a comfortable lead in the AFC West and some time to sit back, relax, not think about football, but savor where they are. Hey, they've already clinched a winning season. Think about that. It's not even Thanksgiving, and you know the Broncos will not have a losing record. Not too far removed, of course, from 7 consecutive losing records, so savor that for a moment as well over the next few days. Until next time, take care. Thanks for watching, and join Cecil Lammy and me on Orange and Blue today, because we're not taking a bye. There will be 5 shows throughout the week, Monday through Friday, so join us for a Broncos conversation there. Take care. Thanks for watching.